Good evening, dear friends. Our channel's editorial office received an anonymous question. It comes from a regular viewer. What is the danger of sitting cross-legged? The thing is, I've loved sitting like that since childhood, but I've seen a lot of information on the internet saying that it's very dangerous, that it has a negative effect on the spine. Please answer this question. What should I do? Is it okay to sit like that or not? Dear viewer, I can't leave your question unanswered. Since you are a regular viewer and a subscriber, I checked, you have given quite a lot of likes and positive comments. That's why I'm answering your question immediately. Trying to answer this question, there are many narrow-minded people who call themselves doctors, but unfortunately skipped classes and somehow got their diplomas by accident. Or just call themselves doctors, these people, but in reality they might be trolleybus drivers or they have some other honorable profession. They are mistaken when they tell you that if you sit cross-legged, see, this is a dangerous position for you. Specialist. For the sake of science, I am not afraid to show it. And here, look, this is a dangerous position. I'm crossing my legs right now, live on air. I'll do it. Look, there you go. See, friends, one leg is lying directly on top of the other. And according to them, my pelvis is now in danger. My pelvis is starting to become misaligned. And if day after day I keep spending time like this, relaxing or, on the contrary, working in this position, my pelvis, it is prone to misalignment, according to some specialists. It starts to bend like this or twist like that. So in their opinion, the pelvis is some kind of substance that can take any shape and it somehow starts to twist. How does it twist? You should ask them. So one wing somehow turns in relation to the other and gets fixed in that position. There can be different positions of the pelvis. I agree with that. Maybe one wing is higher, the other is lower. For example, one leg might be shorter, the other longer, or the muscles on one side are stronger. Oh, see, so it really is dangerous to sit cross-legged. I almost hurt myself. I only sat like that for a minute, you see. Just sat for a minute, crossed my legs, and that's it. It could have been the last episode. I'll put it away just in case. I won't do it again. Maybe I'll try it again later. So, uneven muscle development on one side can cause the pelvis to be asymmetrical. So what if you sit cross-legged? You don't just take the shape of the chair like some amoeba. When you've sat on a chair, it will stay. You regain your natural form after you get up from the chair. Why should your pelvis take on a certain shape? So they all chant you can't sit cross-legged. Your pelvis will become crooked. The idea that you shouldn't sit like that is correct on one hand. Although, well, even an idiot can make a good point sometimes. But they're right about something else. It's not that your pelvis will become crooked. Nothing will happen to your pelvis. If it was crooked before, it'll stay crooked when you sit or stand. Why do you feel the urge to sit cross-legged in the first place? Because it's already crooked. Why do you feel like crossing your legs like this? Because if you had two buttocks of the same size, two of them about 5 kilograms each, bam. If you sat down like this, they would spread out evenly and that's it. You would be sitting down upright. But if one is smaller and the other is bigger, you lean to one side and it's more comfortable for you to be sitting like this. Because one buttock is a bit smaller, you sit like this, it's uncomfortable, right? When you place it like this, the position is a little more stable. So actually, it's the desire to cross your legs is the result of asymmetry, but not of the pelvis, but rather of the muscles you're sitting on. When gluteal muscles vary in volume, it makes sitting uncomfortable. Sometimes the discomfort is in the thigh, not the glute. Also the back of the thigh. It's a bit weaker on one side and the other side has a bit more volume. And it's also more comfortable to sit like this. Well, that's one thing. So, can you sit cross-legged or not? That question still stands. It's dangerous, but dangerous for whom? So, if you're sitting and after a while you feel numbness, you've lost sensation, you start to feel tingling in your foot. That's this part, the foot. You lose sensation in it. You've been sitting for a while, then you get up and feel weakness in your leg. What's going on? That's compression of the peroneal nerve. What is the peroneal nerve? What kind of thing is that? Many people aren't familiar with it, though most know the sciatic nerve. The sciatic nerve is, well, nerves, they're like rivers. For example, there's the Volga River, the mother, right? And then the Volga is composed of other smaller affluents, right? On the contrary, it collects other rivers' waters into itself. All right. For example, the Volga is a big river like this. It is made of smaller rivers. Here are two rivers. Some mischievous river. Well, I wanted to say a mischievous river and a stinky river, but we don't have rivers like that in Russia. That's somewhere in other countries. Here, we just have a river. The river 1 and river 2. And here, they join together into a stronger river, which then carries all the water into the sea and then into the ocean. This system is like that too. This system is similar to nerves. Here, too, we have a nerve root, right? It comes straight out of the spinal cord. And what is the spinal cord? It's a continuation of the brain, as if it was stretched along these wires just like that. It's not Wi-Fi here, but a wired connection between the brain and the rest of your body. And along these wires, an impulse runs back and forth, all the time. An electric impulse keeps moving. And these nerves, they also come together into nerve roots. They come out from here first, and then further along they join together into a nerve. And here it goes.
What is it? Did it stop right
Here we have the sciatic nerve, see it. It runs along the back of the thigh like this. And right here it splits into two parts. One part. Let's use a different color to tell them apart. One part is right here, that's it. This one is the peroneal nerve, the common peroneal nerve, which then splits into the superficial and deep branches. The second part here is the tibial nerve. We don't need it for now. It will also branch later. And all of these nerves keep splitting further, just like rivers. Here we have the peroneal nerve. Exactly here is the spot, that dangerous place where the peroneal nerve passes. Here are the tunnels. It is thinner, of course, but right here, these are the peroneal muscles. And it dives right under it here. So it separates from the sciatic nerve and goes right here, just like this. Here's the sciatic nerve, it goes here, just like that. Then it dives in right here, bam, just like this. And this is exactly where it gets pinched, around the tunnels. And right when you sit down, just get comfortable. You think, oh, now I'll sit, relax, cross my legs. Finally, it's time to cross them. Oops, what's happening right here? Especially if you're thin and a woman on top of that, or you might have some kind of special anatomical feature. And right here, the peroneal nerve starts to get pinched. If you notice numbness in your legs after sitting cross-legged, then this isn't for you. Not for you. Leave this to those who don't have special anatomical features. So what happens to the pelvis? What will happen to your pelvis? Nothing will happen to it from just sitting like this. If it was crooked before, it will stay crooked. Because there is no symmetry in our body. It doesn't have to be perfectly symmetrical. It should be asymmetrical. Because the liver is on the right and the spleen is on the left. The human body itself is asymmetrical. So Why do you want symmetry? One leg is longer, the other shorter. Even the arms are of different length. So you don't need to worry if your pelvis is asymmetrical. Nothing bad will happen. But if you already have some kind of problem, if you like to sit cross-legged, anyway, what should you do? And what will this lead to? What will it lead to, most importantly? The pelvis won't become crooked, so there won't be any problems with that. The foot will stop moving. What is the peroneal nerve neuropathy? How does it manifest? You won't be able to make this foot movement, meaning your foot will just hang. Or if the nerve is constantly traumatized, a complete loss of nerve impulse conduction won't occur, but you will experience weakness in the muscles that lift the foot upward like this. And as you move, the most obvious sign is that the foot can't extend, so you'll have to limp like this. Or if it's just some weakness, then when taking a step, the foot won't fully extend. It might get fatigued, it might hurt. So there's that. This is the maximum. The maximum is the foot paralysis. No pelvic curvature at all, so there's no need to be afraid of the pelvic curvature. You should be concerned about foot paralysis and foot fatigue. Well, also, of course, in very rare cases, a disruption of blood supply may occur, but you'll feel it. You won't sit in such a way that you actually disrupt your blood supply. You'll be alarmed if your leg turns blue or starts to hurt sharply. Of course, you'll change your position, but you can compress a nerve without even noticing it, just like that. So, what should you do if you notice that there's already some weakness in your foot? But if your foot isn't working as steadily as it should when you walk, your balance is disturbed, this is another sign. Well, the very first one, when there's about a 20% disruption in nerve conduction, so you lose the ability to maintain balance on this leg while walking, because the muscles are also under strain and you lose your balance. So what should you do? First, you need to relieve this nerve a little. To do this, you need to relax this lateral muscle a bit, right here, the peroneal muscle. You can do this by working on it, but you need to do it carefully so you don't damage your nerve even further. By working on it and on the calf muscle. But working on the calf muscle is not difficult. You just take a roller. You can do this lying down, or you can do it half sitting. Nowadays, there are all sorts of these massage rollers. And you just put your leg on it like this and work it like this. You can use these kinds of movements like this. But it's more effective to go slightly across it. Like this, you find a painful spot, massage across it once, massage across it again. Now on a real leg, let's see what it looks like. Here, here, like this. Place it. Here they are. See, both of them. And now, side to side, like this, you work it through. If you want a bit more intensity, you can place your other leg on top. There will be some painful spots, and this way you can work through them. There you go. This is the calf muscle, especially focus on working through this upper part. Because very often, due to fascia tension and spasms in this muscle, the fibular muscle also starts to tense up as a result. It might be dangerous to massage the fibular muscle itself with rollers like this one. Here it's better, especially if you have compression. Here it's better to use something softer, like a soft ball, or at first you can even try doing it with your hands. Watch me how. Right in the place where the nerve is pinched, where the head of the fibula is. Right here, this is where the nerve passes, right here. You must not touch it under any circumstances. If you press harder, you'll pinch the nerve even further. A bit lower, right here on the fibula itself, on the side, just a little toward the front. It's okay to do this. So, here we have it, right there. Look like this. So it's clear. Here we have the fibula right here, and here is the group of fibular muscles. Below the head of the fibula, it's easy to feel. It's right here on the side. It stands out as a little bump here. Below it, just to be safe, we move down about the width of your 5 fingers, like this, moving down. And from this spot, to make sure you don't touch anything important here, you start massaging all these lateral muscles right here. They might not be particularly painful. They might just feel tense. You can use these kinds of movements from top to bottom, from bottom to top to work them out. A little further forward, right here, from the fibula, there is the anterior tibial muscle, right here. Work on it, right here, just behind the fibula. So all of this right here needs to be massaged, right here. There will also be some painful spots here. Here you can work on all this with more confidence, whether you're a bit behind or in front of the fibula. But right on the fibula itself, here you need to be careful and do it without causing pain. All of this right here. So after you finish this procedure, if you did everything correctly, you'll notice that your foot has become more stable. And very often, why does this situation occur? Why do some people have this channel narrowing, while for others it's quite wide? It depends on the balance of the muscle tone on the back of the thigh. There are 2 muscle groups here on the back of the thigh. Where's the red one? Okay, let it be blue. This is our biceps femoris. It's located a bit towards the outer side, and the 2 muscles, the semitendinosus and the semimembranosus, are located a bit more towards the inside part. This whole group of muscles forms the back surface of the thigh right here. Here they are in the back, located here. And when the biceps femoris weakens and the semitendinosus and semimembranosus muscles combined become stronger than the biceps femoris, the shin rotates a bit in relation to the femur. It turns inward like this. That's the kind of rotation you'll get. So movement is possible here, you see. So movement of the shin is possible. Not just flexion and extension, but the foot can also turn inward or outward. This is called pronation and supination, similar to the hand, but to a lesser extent. And when this imbalance occurs, when it turns a little, look, it's easier to see when sitting. See, when the shin turns inward. This is exactly where the conditions for compression. Nerve arise, la. In this same case, if you turn it like this, you get more space here. That is, the peroneal nerve is released and the room for it expands here. That's why one of the exercises you can add to your healthy lifestyle routine can be done with a red resistance band like this, or another color which also works well for this exercise. You attach the band like this and spread your legs a little. Here you can either lift your foot or keep it on the floor, touching the ground. It's not that important. And you start spreading them to the sides, just like this, out and back, out and back. And right here you feel the tension. If you put your hand on the back of your thigh, you'll feel your hamstring tense up a bit. Here the fibula will move slightly to the side. You don't need a lot of resistance here. But start with a thinner resistance band. You may feel that the muscle strain is different on the right and left sides. And so this way, do 2 or 3 sets of 10 repetitions. There you go. That's all of it. So here's the danger of sitting with your legs crossed for you, just like this. I mean, it's not dangerous per se, but with certain anatomical features, it can damage your peroneal nerve. This condition is also called peroneal nerve neuropathy. For my curious viewers, maybe someone who likes to do crossword puzzles. This condition is also called, who typically gets it, people who often squat, they can also compress the nerve there. And historically, it was named after these people, gardeners.